Hello, everyone. So it's no secret that everyone can feel some sort of burnout at work from time to time, especially if they feel like they're being overtasked. I know I've felt that from time to time on my job, especially when I first started out in my job. As a matter of fact, according to a survey in this article titled 20 Plus Work Life Balance Statistics by Abby McCain, about 77% of U.S. workers have experienced burnout at least once in their current jobs. So, work life balance is the key to ensuring you minimize burnout and overall have just a better job performance, job satisfaction, overall better life satisfaction, just overall better health in general. So, what we're going to talk about in this presentation today is talk about why is work life balance important, what work life balance isn't, how our employers slash our bosses can help us with our work life balance, how we can better our work life balance as ourselves, and overall health benefits and the overall job performance and satisfaction we can achieve from having a better work-life balance. So starting out, why is work-life balance important? So according to that same survey, about 72% of U.S. employees feel work-life balance is very important, where 23% feel it is somewhat important. So that's a pretty high number of people who feel it's important. So why is it important? Well, it cuts down on burnout, it cuts down on people dreading going to work. As according to that same survey by Abby McCain, about 23% of surveyed workers feel like they dread going to work in the morning. I know I felt that way myself, waking up in the morning, feeling like, man, I really don't want to go to work today. I'm really not feeling it. I just kind of feel groggy and just kind of hate it, but feeling overwhelmed. And that's another thing they talk about is some people feel overwhelmed with their work. Well, a healthy work-life balance can help with all this. Can help with feeling overtasked, feeling overwhelmed, and feeling like you're dreading going to work. And let's talk about how we can. We'll talk about how we can better our work-life balance as we go through this. So, what work-life balance isn't? Well, it's not slacking off. This is by an article by Kendra Cherry titled "Why Work-Life Balance is So Important." It's not slacking off. It's not procrastinating or putting things off. Funny enough, I kind of broke that a little bit with this, submitting this the day before the due date for this presentation, so it's definitely not something that's recommended. You don't want to do that. You want to make use of your time, use your time effectively, good time management, and that helps out. So when you're at work, use your time effectively. When you come home, disconnect. The overall goal is you want to find that harmonious balance with your work-life balance, and you want to, another goal is to just not let your job consume your personal life. So how can our employers slash our bosses, how can they help us with our work-life balance? So in the article titled 6 Things Managers Can Do to Encourage Work-Life Balance by Patricia Slodich, number one thing they talk about is set the example. So as you guys may or may not know, I am in charge of a small little shop in our squadron, about 5 people. The main thing that I try to do and set the example is when I'm not at work, I try not to think about work, think about it, anything like that. And we work a 24-hour schedule, so we have a days, swings, and mids. So when one of my mids guys just say I'm at work and they're off work, they're sleeping or whatever, I try not to bother them if I have a question about whatever happened the night before. I try to wait until I see them again, and then we'll talk about it at that point and talk about work and whatever the case may be. But I try not to bother them, try to let them disconnect when they're not at work. Next thing they talk about is promoting hobbies. So main thing with that, I like to tell my guys to just get a hobby, whatever the case may be, whether it's traveling, playing video games, going to the gym, whatever it is, just try to get a hobby and try to disconnect as much as you can. That's a good way to not think about work. You're thinking about enjoying yourself and your hobby, and that's a good one for sure. Culture recognition at work, that's one of my favorites. Basically, it can be recognized for your hard work. So it can be anything from a simple thank you all the way up to getting a reward and getting recognized that way for your hard work at work. Helps with being basically that dread. Like, if you feel like you're being appreciated, you have less dread going into work. You're like, I'm kind of excited to go to work today. I know people appreciate me, people are excited to work with me. So some examples of some companies. So this is from article titled Top Companies Work-Life Balance Initiatives by Traybound. LinkedIn and Netflix, they have unlimited paid time off, so you get as many days off as you need, all paid for, which is really nice. And then a company called Webflow, they have educational support plan. So if you're trying to pursue a degree, whatever the case may be, they help out with that as well. So how can we better our work-life balance? So in an article titled "Why Work-Life Balance is Important," again by Kendra Cherry, main thing is make a plan. You want to make a plan. How are you going to go about it? You want to let other people know when you're offline. So as I was saying earlier, I try not to bother people when they're not at work. Well, I hope people don't want to bother me when I'm not at work. A little easier said than done being in the military, but I try my best with it, and well, I hope that my bosses feel the same way and they try to not bother me and just let people know, like, hey, I'm not at work. Don't talk about work with me. Know what burnout looks like. So if you're feeling burned out, know what that looks like. Try to take the necessary steps to get rid of that burnout, whether it's change up your schedule, change up your work habits, try to have that better time management, whatever the case may be. Pick up a new hobby, whatever it is. Or maybe even just, if you know what your burnout looks like, just talk to your boss. Let them know, hey, I'm feeling a little burned out. Maybe I can get a different job or a different position at my work or whatever the case may be. Just let people know, let your employer know. And if all else fails, if your employer isn't helping you, boss isn't helping you out, I feel like nothing's working. You can consider changing jobs. So if you have that chance and that opportunity, consider trying to get a different job and try something different. So moving on to our last point here, talking about the overall health benefits and overall job satisfaction and performance of a healthy work-life balance. So this is all from an article titled "Benefits of a Work-Life Balance, Why It Matters" by Antonio Gabola. Obviously, a healthy work-life balance leads to less stress, improved mental health. I know for me, with my work-life balance, when I started getting better at it, I had much better mental health. I felt much happier, and I still do to this day because I know how to do it, and I know how to balance my work and my life very, very well now. So it helps with ability to be present, so ability at work to be present. You have better time management, better productivity when you're at work, and just overall you just have higher engagement when you're at work, and just overall just better job satisfaction. And I felt the same way again with me and my work, so that's definitely helped out a lot, and helps out a lot of people, so that's a good way. That's a lot of good benefits. So to conclude, we talked about what work-life balance is, why it's important, what it isn't, how our bosses can help us with it, how we can better our work-life balance, and then the overall benefits. Obviously, as we've talked about, a healthy work-life balance is going to lead to better job performance, overall better mental health, and just overall just a better, healthier life. So I encourage everyone, including myself, that we can continue to use what we've learned in this presentation to better our work-life balances going into the future. I appreciate you all's time. Thank you and have a good day.